Like this, like.
We had a black billionaire's lunch.
It's in there like, yeah. Billionaire plus, like, 18, man.
And we here together, and we're gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
I don't know anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. We put that place on.
This is a story of two of hip-hop's most powerful figures, Sean Combs and Jay-Z, a friendship a world watched for over 30 years before a federal criminal case shattered everything and sparked endless questions across the internet. What really happened between them? What was actually said in the lawsuits? And what do those leaked prison calls reveal once you separate fact from rumors? To understand why Jay-Z's name was ever connected to the controversy, you first have to understand how deep their relationship truly was. Sean Combs and Sean Carter came up together in New York's music scene during the early 1990s, two ambitious men from similar backgrounds who transformed themselves from hustlers into cultural icons, building empires that made them symbols of power, wealth, and influence in hip-hop for decades. Raised by single mothers and driven by the same hunger to escape poverty, Sean Combs and Jay-Z were determined to build empires nobody could ever take away from them. By 1993, Diddy had left Uptown Records to create Bad Boy Records, signing artists like Maze, Faith Evans, and a Brooklyn rapper named Christopher Wallace, later known worldwide as the Notorious B.I.G. Around the same time, Jay-Z, who had been mentored early by Jazzo, was carving his own path and released his debut album Reasonable Doubt in 1996. The album featured both Biggie and Diddy, including the iconic track Brooklyn's Finest, marking the beginning of a connection that would tie their careers together for decades. When Biggie was murdered in 1997, both men suffered a devastating loss. Diddy had built Bad Boy around Wallace, while Jay-Z later revealed he had spoken to Biggie just an hour before the shooting. Their shared grief pulled them even closer, leading to even more collaborations as Diddy appeared on Jay-Z's albums and Jay-Z returned the favor on Diddy's debut project No Way Out. By the end of 1999, both Sean Combs and Jay-Z found themselves facing major legal trouble within weeks of each other, and many believe this period strengthened their bond in a way the public never fully understood. Jay-Z received probation after pleading guilty in connection to the stabbing of record executive Lance Rivera inside New York's Kit Kat Club. Not long after, Diddy was arrested following a nightclub shooting at Club New York involving his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez and rapper Shine. Lopez faced no charges. Diddy eventually received probation, while Shine served years in prison. To many around them, these were two powerful men surviving two career-threatening moments almost side by side. As the 2000s began, their relationship evolved far beyond music. It became personal, financial, and deeply intertwined with family and business. Beyoncé, who began dating Jay-Z when she was still a teenager, also entered Diddy's circle, later collaborating with him on Summertime in 2003. Over the years, Jay-Z attended Diddy's private birthday celebrations, exclusive parties, and public charity appearances, including a nationally televised Hurricane Katrina fundraiser where they stood together presenting a $1 million donation check. Diddy also contributed heavily to Jay-Z's American Gangster album, producing several tracks including Rock Boys. By 2009, Diddy described their friendship in deeply personal terms, saying Jay-Z was the only person in the world besides his mother allowed to call him by his real first name, Sean. In the months that followed, dozens of additional accusers came forward, turning what first looked like a single lawsuit into a full-scale federal investigation. On March 25, 2024, the Department of Homeland Security carried out coordinated raids on Sean Combs properties in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. Then, in May 2024, CNN released disturbing hotel surveillance footage showing Combs physically assaulting Cassie Ventura inside the hallway of an Intercontinental hotel, footage that shattered any remaining public skepticism about the allegations surrounding him. By September 2024, federal agents arrested Combs and charged him with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. After being denied bail multiple times, he was held inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center while the world watched his trial unfold beginning May 5, 2025. On July 2nd, 2025, the jury cleared him of the most serious racketeering and sex trafficking charges but convicted him on 2 prostitution-related transportation counts. Months later, on October 3, 2025, a federal judge sentenced him to more than 4 years in prison, along with a $500,000 fine and supervised release after completion of his sentence. He is now serving time at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey, reportedly working as a chaplain's assistant inside the low-security federal facility. And while public opinion remains deeply divided, one detail keeps catching people's attention. In many appearances and clips, Diddy still seems relaxed, even smiling, leading some to wonder whether he sees prison not as the end of his story, but as material for the next chapter, whether that becomes a memoir, a documentary, or an attempt to rebuild his public image once again. Even after conviction, Diddy often appeared calm in public clips and courtroom sketches, smiling in ways that left many people confused, as if everything around him was still under control. But this is where the story becomes far more complicated, because the details surrounding Jay-Z's connection to the controversy are often distorted online. In October 2024, attorney Tony Busby, who represented more than 100 alleged victims in civil cases tied to Sean Combs, filed a lawsuit on behalf of an anonymous woman identified only as Jane Doe. In the original complaint, she accused Combs and an unnamed celebrity of sexually assaulting her at an after-party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards when she was 13 years old. According to the filing, she claimed she had been driven to the party by someone associated with Combs, given a drink that left her feeling disoriented, taken into another room to rest, and then assaulted while others allegedly watched. On December 8, 2024, the complaint was refiled with celebrity identified as Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. Jay-Z's response came almost immediately and was unusually forceful. In a lengthy public statement, he called the accusations heinous and accused Busby of attempting to pressure him into a quiet settlement through what he described as an extortion-style legal threat. Jay-Z insisted the allegations were false and said the attempt to force a settlement only pushed him to fight the claims publicly instead of resolving them privately. He also challenged Busby to pursue criminal charges rather than civil litigation, arguing that if the accusations were truly credible, they should be tested in criminal court under a much higher legal standard. Jay-Z's response focused heavily on the fact that civil lawsuits require a far lower burden of proof than criminal cases, arguing that if the allegations were true, they should be pursued criminally rather than through financial litigation. It was later revealed that weeks before he was publicly named in the lawsuit, Jay-Z had already filed a separate legal action against attorney Tony Busby in Los Angeles on November 18th, accusing him of attempted extortion. Busby denied those accusations and said he intended to fight the claims in court. But as the case moved forward, cracks in the lawsuit began drawing national attention. In interviews with NBC News during December 2024, Jane Doe admitted to inconsistencies in her account. She had originally claimed musician Benji Madden was present at the alleged after-party, but records and representatives confirmed Madden was touring in another state at the time and did not attend the MTV Video Music Awards that year. Her father also publicly stated he had no recollection of making the late-night drive she described after the alleged incident, noting that the round trip would have taken roughly 5 hours and would have been impossible to forget. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's legal team sent private investigators to speak directly with Jane Doe. According to sworn court declarations later filed by those investigators, she allegedly stated during a conversation outside her home that Jay-Z had nothing to do with the assault and claimed Busby had encouraged her to include him in the case. Then, on February 14, 2025, Jane Doe voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it could never be filed again. Shortly afterward, Jay-Z's attorney publicly stated that his client had not paid any settlement money whatsoever, saying he never paid one red penny.